Welcome to the Scene Snobs Podcast.
Welcome to the Scene Snobs Podcast, everybody. It's Tuesday night. Thank you guys for joining in. I'm super stoked. I have a great guest for you, whom I really enjoy. He's my guest co-host tonight. We're going to bring him on in just a few seconds, but I do want to cover a few things before we go. If you guys are listening to the podcast for the first time, I want to say thank you. If you're watching for the first time, awesome. Thank you so much. Remember to like, maybe follow, subscribe, and just hit that notification bell. Rate and review us if you listen to us anywhere. We truly appreciate it. This is the Scene Snobs Podcast. It's where we really get into it. We especially love all our geek stuff, especially movies and television is like my thing, so I love to get into it with them. Our guest co-hosts come from other shows. They're actors, they're directors, podcasters, content creators of all kinds, and so much more. So thank you guys for joining in. I do want to point out that we are doing a new segment. We have a few new segments going on right now. As you know, we started Let Me Micksplain. Then we go into Mick's Movie Picks, where you vote on our social media all week on what year you think should win. Then I pick out a movie from that year and I recommend it to you. But we've added another thing. We've added 5 questions. Now, what this is, every week I have a different guest co-host. Okay, and when they come in, I do a segment called 5 Questions with them. Now, their segment may go on somebody else's podcast. Like last week, I had a wonderful guest, had a wonderful time, and we got into it, but I had a different guest co-host 5 questions on that episode. And the same will be tonight. Sturdy is my guest, Sir Sturdy from the Horror Sir Sturdy podcast and Popcorns and Pints. But at the same time, you are going to be hearing the 5 questions answered by Chris Ridings, my guest co-host from a few weeks ago. You should go check out that episode. That was a lot of fun. Now, without further ado, the man is here. We're going to get to your comments. We're going to talk to him and more. But we're going to really get into horror. That's why I'm wearing my Horror Snob shirt, which is brand new on snobsmerch.com. Link down below. Go check it out. If you're listening, you can go check that out as well. But let's get into it. Let's bring Sturdy on. Welcome to the show, Sir Sturdy.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Good, man. I'm so glad you could come on and be a guest co-host.
Same here, man. Same here.
Dude, it's so exciting. And we're going to get into it quite a bit. Thank you again so much for coming on. I know you are a busy man with your shows.
I mean, so are you.
Yeah, but I mean, this I do this every week. So for you to take some time out, and we will get you. I know you have a show tonight. So guys, remember, Horror with Sir Sturdy is live every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. over on his channel and the Z Network. You can go check them out. Make sure to follow. Links below. And check out his show because it's a lot of fun. And you're going to be on there later around 8 o'clock tonight. So we will let him go before the show ends. But thank you again, man, for coming on and just being a part of it.
Of course.
Tell us a little bit about your show before we get started, though.
So I'm actually going to do this. Tonight, I'm going to be interviewing a gentleman by the name of Jason Horton and doing an inner review. An inner review, reviewing the movie, interview, same time, inner review, Sturdy's word. Put it in the dictionary. If Beyonce can have bootylicious, I can have inter review. And anyways, discussing that, talking about his movie and all that fun stuff with him. And I can't wait. Like, I really, really, really love this stuff. I really love the horror, talking horror, reviewing movies, doing these interviews, connecting with people. All that I got from horror. And I'm just like, the more I talk about this, the more I'm realizing how important horror movies are to me. Just horror in general is to me. So come on over at 8 o'clock after this is over and tune in. Have some laughs, have some fun. And I hope you guys are paying attention to Sturd-O-Ween. I know I didn't drop anything yet today, but it'll be coming out later. And
So
thank
glad
this
you're
man.
doing.
Oh, this way. Thank this man for that.
I'm so glad you're doing Sturd-O-Ween. It is hysterical to me.
I love it.
It's perfect. I think that getting into it is going to be so much fun for you.
I love it. I just can't. I just think of it. I'm like, all right, boom. I have to do it. I'm going to do it.
I'm so glad you're
keep a
doing
lookout,
it,
people.
So he'll be doing his watch. He started on September 1st. He's doing 61 days, man. That's crazy.
I know. It is.
You caught the bug now, because that's what happened to me. I did I think my first year of really doing a rewatch, but doing it on here and talking about it. I was writing. We didn't even have TikTok or anything like that. So and I wrote it and I put it up on our Facebook page and our Instagram and stuff like that. I would make special things. So I wrote all my reviews for the movies I watched each day.
Nice.
That was fun. But I started at 60 or so too.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year was 75, and then 80, then 85, then 100. And then it was just after 100, I was like, nah, I got to rest.
You know what's funny is because I was thinking, I was like, maybe I can do every day. Then I was like, you know what? Scratch that. Nah, I'm gonna stick with the 61 because it's perfect for that whole spooky season thing, even though it's all 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
And then I can do other things in between with that, with the shorts and all that instead of. That's
sure.
a lot of damn movies. 61's a lot. 61's a good chunk. But
And you know that's not going to be all you watch. Because you're going to watch multiple for like. I'll bet you have like 2 or 3 some days.
Because, well, yeah, there's that, and then there's the movies for the pods. There's the movies for going to the movies with the wife and all that other stuff. So I'm be watching a lot of damn movies, guys.
You guys have some movies coming, man. I do not envy you on that front, but it's exciting, dude, for sure.
Yeah, it is.
You having fun doing it so far, though? Like, is it at least an enjoyable experience to do like the Sturd-O-Ween rewatch for all those days?
I'm really enjoying it, and the funny thing is all these 61 movies are going to be first time watches. I thought about doing a rewatch for some, but I was like, you know what? No, don't do that, and the reason why I want to do it is because I want to watch new stuff. I want to watch new to me, not necessarily brand new movies, but just new to me. Because it's like if you guys are gonna hear me talk about the same movies all the time between the podcast and then on here and then doing that. That's why I haven't been reviewing any of the movies as far as like doing a 5-minute review. I just want to have that Sturd-O-Ween TikTok portion be Sturd-O-Ween TikTok portion and all that. And I'll tie into other things. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I have ideas floating around.
We got one of our buddies here, the other scary snob. Jason says, "What's up, homies?"
What's good, Jason?
Switching to his YouTube, you're back. I see a lot of you in the chat hit and like that and join me in the comments.
Yeah, I love when, and that's another thing too. Like when people comment on, I mean, I don't have thousands of people yet commenting on there, but when people comment on there, I try to respond as fast as possible because I'm the type of person. If I comment on something and then the person that originally posted, or even someone in the conversation, you like to have that back and forth, especially with the person that posted. If it's like a TikTok or whatever, just like, okay, boom, they see, yes. Now it makes me want to go back and watch more of their stuff because I know if I comment, they're going to respond. So do it. I love it. Freaking love it.
Dude, I love it too, man. And I'm so excited for you and like everything you got going on. Like, cause especially like I love Halloween time. So I love when people really get into it and like are really all about like, you know, like those traditions that really stick out. And like that was one of the topics we're going to talk about today. Because we got a couple of topics to talk about. I want to get into horror with you. But like, what are some of those traditions during Halloween? Not just movie wise, but like just in general that you adhere to every year. You're like, this is my tradition. I got to keep this going. It celebrates Halloween in the best ways.
Honestly, the thing about it is we don't really do too much, but the movies is like a big thing we do. But with me and the wife, we'll have some snacks, have some food, and just watch a lot of horror. If there's stuff going, of course, if there's stuff going on, we'll go to those. But we haven't really been doing, because the kids are older. Like the youngest is 17, so they ain't trick or treating and all that anymore. Because we did that. Listen, the last time I went trick or treating, I was about 27, 28. Yes, it was me, my stepson, and my nephews, and then the chaperones was my wife and my sister. And I had an Iron Man mask on. I was dressed up. Every time we went to the door, I just didn't say anything. I let the kids say trick or treat as the group. I just had my bag out there and got some free candy.
Sneaking around, getting that free candy, aren't you?
I see nothing wrong with it. I'm going to be completely honest with you. If I handed out candy every year, right, and there was people bringing their kids or adults trick or treating or teenagers trick or treating, they're not causing havoc, give them some damn candy. You bought it to give away anyway. What if no kids show up and it's just adults and teens?
Because most of them are like me and they're like holding on to that candy, hoping no kids come by so that way you can eat it all. And then they come and then you're just like, well, I hate you now.
Yeah. But you can say the same about those kids. Like, oh, you little bastards.
I do.
At least, because I'm like, listen. Maybe we should share. Maybe we should have some sort of thing where adults can go around and get something nice, cool for free too. Because we work our asses off. We don't get nothing. Hey, you want it? Go buy it.
We get the money. Kids don't. They're not allowed to.
They get the stuff that they want from that money without doing. Can I get this? Yeah.
I love it. Oh, your partner from Harvester Sturdy's here. James, what's up, buddy?
What's good, James?
Good to see you, pal. And Jason saying, let's go trick-or-treating, Sturdy.
Listen,
that's the last thing we need is you two walking down the street trick-or-treating.
Don't think I wouldn't. If you were closer, Jason, I would.
That would be a terrible idea.
Listen, I already have it. Listen. You need me to take one of my nieces or nephews out for trick-or-treating? I'm gonna, but I'm dressing up too. I'll take a couple of them. They got to say trick or treat. I'm just gonna be holding the bag open. behind them. They can still have their bags of candy. I'm being honest. If I do it, that's what I charge. That's what I charge. I'm not charging you money. Listen, I'll take your kids trick-or-treating. You don't want to go, but I better get some of that free candy.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so like that, trick-or-treating was a tradition then, and the horror movies are a tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Do you decorate? Like, do you guys really get into it with the decorations?
The wife loves to decorate for holidays.
I love it. Sounds like my wife.
So okay. Does your wife do this? Pretty much whatever's. Can you, babe, get the decorations? Or get the decorations out the basement? Yeah, I got them. I tried to help her with a tree 1 year, and I guess I was taking too long. She was like, "Just go do something else. Go." All right, and I'm fine with that. But she really enjoys decorating. Like I think she has like 6 Christmas trees, and she'll put them out for Halloween as well, and do like a horror related tree. Which I gotta talk to her about that. Doing that this year. But she will decorate for Halloween. Decorate. Sometimes we'll dress up, even if we don't go anywhere. It's just us kicking it, watching a movie, and having some snacks, which is fun as hell.
Oh.
But I don't really have like a tradition. It's probably going to start being more on this podcast, on the potting on Halloween, or doing something specific on Halloween, especially if it falls on a pod day. What about you, though? What do you guys traditionally do?
Well, we decorate. We go all out. It's actually kind of scary a little bit for some people. We tend to get all into it. Like I'm looking right now, and like right across is like our Halloween decorations.
Mm-hmm.
In the we have another room in the other part of the basement, but it's like a bigger room, and where where the washer and dryer and everything are. So we have all our decorations lined up there. It's the unfinished section, but I could see through the doorway, and I know I'm only seeing maybe half of the decorations for Halloween, but it's from floor to top. It's 5 tubs. It's 4 rows of 5 tubs, like the big tubs.
Yeah.
And they're all Halloween decorations. And that's about half of them in the tubs. Then we have a whole bunch laid out on tubs because we buy throughout the year.
Yeah, that's smart though.
We'll go to we love Halloween, man. We'll go thrift to thrift stores or other places that have old Halloween decorations. We'll pick up the stuff we like. We'll set it up. Sometimes we'll make our own, or we'll go out and buy. Of course, we go to Spirit. We buy stuff, or we buy stuff online and things like that. I'm strategic in mine though. Like mine is different. I think my love of, and now this is purely Halloween. This isn't horror. Horror is different.
Agreed.
So, but I love spooky. I love spooky decor. I love spooky feel. Like the feeling that you get around Halloween. Here's the weird thing. Okay. I kind of wish it was all year. I keep kicking my camera. That's why it's turning on me. Fucking A, dude. Don't run a live show. Why don't you? No, but like, so, and I know many of you do. So like, I know whoever's sitting out there is like, I love spooky too.
Mm-hmm.
I love the competitive people who are just like get real mad and into it. Like, but I love spooky more. And it's like, we're not saying that. We're just saying that we love it. But so like for me, I get all into it. I love decorate, but I'm weird. Like I love particular things. We've talked about this, just you and I as friends. And so I love the cute Halloween decorations more than I love the scary Halloween decorations. Okay. Unless it's outside. Outside, I love the scary decorations. But in the house, like it doesn't have to be cute, but like it could be like we have a Medusa head that moves and like lights up and is like, look me in the eyes and stuff like that. Yeah, it's pretty creepy, but like it's still fun. I like those fun, like play with stuff that's kind of round. Or I love Universal Monsters products. Like if it's a Frankenstein like bowl, or like a Dracula, stand-up doll or something like that. Like I think those are fun. So I will go all out. Like I'll decorate all around, but like in each room has to have a theme. Oh. And my wife is very much on point with me with this. Like so, like the dining room has to look gothic. We'll put that like sort of not webbing, but like it's like a table, dress. Whatever, tablecloth. I don't know.
I was gonna say our wives will know what it is.
Exactly. And then like that, like it kind of has a webbing design on it, but it's very gothic and black, and like. But then we put like the old school candelabras out, and so like our dining room just looks real gothic because whenever we have a Halloween party, that's where all the theme food goes. And you want that feel, but like when we're in the living room hanging out, like I want cool spooky stuff on, like I want skeletons hanging around and like just goofy stuff. So that way when I watch my horror movies, I feel like I'm surrounded by horror.
I like that.
I think you and I are the same. We love that Halloween feel.
It feels so good.
Just you're living in the spooky for like a month or two.
Yeah, and another cool thing about it, I really enjoy about it, is that I feel like, and even with the people that just come around for the spooky season, all of it, I embrace all of it. But I feel like the one, like, you know, you're a horror fan or whatever you want to call it all year around, it's like, this is the time where I really get to just say this or do this, and people are just like, oh, well, it's that time of season, so it's normal. But the rest of the year, it's just like, oh man, this guy watches too many damn horror movies or whatever. Or all he does is talks about this, that, and the third, this horror stuff. But look, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Forget Christmas.
I buy into all of the times of the year. So like when it's Thanksgiving time, I'm in. I love it. I want to eat the food. I want to watch the games. I want to watch the parade. I want to chill with family, relax at home, and just feel that vibe of like fall's here and like it's Thanksgiving. I want to thank everybody and be a part of it. Then Christmas comes and I feel the magic of Christmas and the New Year, just that season. Everybody's being a little nicer, and then after that, it's like, all right, bring back Halloween.
Yeah. You know what sucks about that though is it's literally back to back. We have October, November, December, and then January, and then it's like boom, and then February with Valentine's Day. Like, this is, who designed this? Think about it. Who designed that?
We are in the first 5-6 months is just like preparing for
Everything for the end of the
last
year. It's like March through August, September is preparing for October, November, December. And then I only say the New Year's for January 1st because some people do go all out for it. Me, I don't. I'm usually home.
Yeah, I'm all good on that. I don't need to go out anymore.
As a matter of fact, because my show dropped on January 1st, usually I'm trying to do something, some sort of live at midnight or January 1st in general. So that's usually what I'm doing.
That's awesome. Not me. I take those 2 weeks off, and I prepare for my next venture, which is second Halloween for me, which is when I'm starting to get ready for Carolina Fear Fest.
Which I'll be there.
That'd be awesome. But so like, but that right there, that's another one. Like when you go to these horror conventions, you can find some really cool Halloween stuff, you know, that you like can't find out to look at and hold like, you know, that late into the year. So it's just like there's no feeling quite like Halloween. There really isn't.
There really isn't. And I mean, it's cool, and it's cool to see other people enjoy it. It's cool to see the kids enjoy it. Like, I love seeing these kids dressed up and going trick-or-treating and all that. I mean, I don't always give out candy. I don't give out candy. We tried one year. Well, I think it was like the first or second year we were here, right? Mm-hmm. Bunch of people came. All right, okay, cool. So next year we're gonna get candy because we know how the neighborhood was.
Yeah.
The year we'd get candy, nobody came. I was like, I'm not spending all this damn money on candy ever again to give away.
Just have nobody come.
Yeah, just have nobody come, or one or two people come. Like, it's not really worth it for that. And I don't eat candy like I used to.
I do. We moved into this new house right before Halloween last year, and like we were thankful because our old house we had nobody coming. It was like a longer driveway, so nobody wanted to walk up. But like and it was no streetlights, so like kids aren't going to walk around. Like what they basically used to do is like the parents. My wife would take the riding lawnmower and attach like the wagon to the back, which is really for carrying dirt and shit. But put a blanket down and let the kids like go to the houses, and then they run up. And I loved handing out candy. I love seeing all the costumes, hanging out, listening to music. And but this year, like, you know, thank God we moved to a suburb because like I was all into it. I was like, fuck, there's houses everywhere. There's got to be kids out. So like they all go trick or treat. It's a great time.
See, that's awesome. That's awesome.
The way to do it, man. Like I love. Is there any traditions for you, like movie wise? Like, are there movies like you're like, I cannot go through Halloween without seeing this movie?
I'll name one for sure that I try to watch on Halloween ever since I've seen it, and that's the movie Trick or Treat. That's probably one of the best Halloween themed horror movies I've watched in a while. And just because you have the trick or treating in there, you have the Halloween parties in there, and the reason why, you know, spoiler alert, why Sam is doing what he's doing is because they're not doing the traditional Halloween the traditional way, and all this other stuff. There's more to it than that. I don't remember everything. I gotta watch it on Halloween. I gotta watch it on Halloween.
There's not much more to it. That's pretty much it.
But that's definitely one. Here and there, I'll watch the Halloween franchise. I'll go through them, but I don't do it as much as I used to. And then I'll try to watch something different. I try to look for anthologies, like Halloween themed anthologies, because I love anthologies, man. those can be so freaking fun. Those can be so freaking fun.
Yeah, no, legit, man. Like it's. I do like the anthology, and and I get into it. There's a lot of stuff I watch. Like for me, every year on Halloween, so like we're gonna have our 300th anniversary Halloween special that night. When that's over, I'm going right upstairs and on the TV, I'm putting on Night of the Living Dead. I always finish off like that and Garfield's Halloween special are the last things I watch before Halloween runs out.
I love that. I freaking love that. Halloween theme. Oh my gosh. That just makes me think of back in the day. Again, I don't watch TV as much as I used to. I still watch a lot of content, but where the holiday themed shows would come on and they would do them right, actually. Maybe not all the time, but a lot of them would do them right to where it's like, okay, this is cool. This is fun for, the Christmas ones, but we're talking about Halloween and all that. And I'm just like, oh man, I kind of miss doing that. I kind of miss going back to those shows. And cause you mentioned that, one thing we will do, which I don't know if we did it last year, we usually do Treehouse of Horror. We'll just go through, start from we'll watch the newest one that came out that time. And then we'll go through and just watch some older ones here and there. Sometimes we'll start from the first one, just go through.
Yeah.
And that'll be just through the month of October in general. But not, like I said, we don't really have anything really locked in besides watching horror during that time. But I think I'm going to try to get something going that we can just kind of build off from that.
What about haunts? Do you guys visit haunts?
We're getting into that. We're going to get into that. And
can't wait. That's going to be amazing.
I actually, this past con I went to, I forgot that I was cool with a paranormal investigator. Yes. And they're actually going to be around, not necessarily in where I live, but maybe a half hour around my area. At some point, he's going to hit me up and let me know. He's like, so you can come check it out. And if you want to come do some of this stuff with us, you're more than welcome to. I'm like, we'll talk. Definitely, we'll talk. I can't wait for that. Actually, hey, from this con too, which this may be a yearly traditional thing, because I was telling you about it earlier. I forgot what the event is. I know they're going to have vendor tables and all that stuff there. I think the night ends with the Rocky Picture Horror, which I'm not crazy about, but just the whole thing of it being around horror fans and all that's going to be a good time. Yeah. And that is, I think, the 28th. I think I do that every single year. So yeah, that's
one I really enjoy doing. My wife and I used to do that a lot before, because we had her son, which is my stepson, Tommy, and then we had our own. But before that, Tommy would go with his dad's son at every other weekend at that point. So we would go during Halloween time, maybe a couple of nights, in September and October. On Saturday nights, they always did Rocky Horror Picture Show at the college near her. So we would go and visit and see that. It was a cool tradition. We had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, sure. And that's what I do. Like I said, I want to do stuff like that where it's just hanging around other Halloween fans or horror fans and all that stuff and just having a great freaking time.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And we're all fans of that stuff, the old horror heads and stuff. So going and on Halloween, what were when you were a kid, what were some Halloween things you really look forward to? I know for me, Monster, back in the day it was called Monster Fest, but now it's called Fright Fest on AMC.
Mm-hmm.
But when the TVs would turn over and start showing more horror movies, I was always yes, I'm in. Let's do this.
Exactly. Yeah. Any type of horror I could watch from, and I don't care what people say, from the Scooby-Doos to the Friday the 13th or whatever else, I had it on. I know you remember Nick at Night, and then the Munsters would come on, the Addams Family, Bewitched. I put that in that category. All that stuff. And those same shows is probably what got me really into. I'm not gonna say a huge fan. But I'll say I enjoy it and I'll watch it and I'll get excited for it. Even is the black and white movies from watching stuff like that, just being able to just watching stuff like that because okay, there's nothing on TV at 1 o'clock in the morning that's gonna really interest me, but Bewitched is on or the Munsters are on or again like I said the Addams Family or something like that, and it just kind of just keeps that going for you, keeps that going,
and it's worth it. That stuff for a horror fan, that's stuff that we haven't seen before. So it's always cool to kind of check out, and kind of be a part of, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's not, and the cool thing about those shows was I guess none of them were scary. None of them are scary to the sense of oh my God, this is too terrifying to watch, but it still had that horror aspect or horror element. It kind of made it more fun and funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I need to go back and watch some of those actually. Now that we're discussing it.
Dude, I love this time of year, man. Be able to go down, go pumpkin picking, my family and I do jack-o'-lantern carving and stuff like that. So I'm in with you, man. We have a fun time with it, just to be able to do it. Now the kids, I'm a traditionalist. I love my jack-o'-lanterns.
See, and I tried that 1 year with the wife. I forgot how many years ago that was, and I've never carved pumpkins before until this time, and I was just like, all right, this is way too much work. This is not what I was expecting it to be. I'm not doing this again. But I get it though. Like if it's a tradition, if you've been doing it since childhood, or just something you and your wife started doing together years ago, and then you keep doing it with the kids, I understand that. 1,000.
Yeah. It's just fun. It's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's just a fun time. Like, and the kids love it. Like, yeah, it's a lot of work. It sucks, but I mean, you're lucky. You got older kids now. They don't want to get into that shit. They're like, no, fuck that.
Yeah. If they wanted to get into it now, they go get yourself a damn pumpkin and start carving. Because I'm not cutting that shit. But no, all joking aside though, like if we had a young one or a niece or nephew wanted to do it, I would do it with them. But I'd be like, listen, I'm the wrong person to ask about because I'm terrible at this. Better go ask someone else. But I'll do it if you really want to do it with Sturdy. That's fine.
Listen, nobody's good at it. You'll be fine.
Mm-mm.
That's not true. Actually, I've seen some of those shows. They are very good at it.
Yes. That's something we watch. I'm glad you mentioned that. Like it's one of those food shows.
Pumpkin Wars? Is it Horror Wars or whatever?
Something like that. Something like that. I forgot what it. Yes. And they have to do stuff they use the pumpkin, but they eat all kinds of stuff, cakes and.
Yep.
It's amazing what they do. That's another thing we love to watch, and that's around this time we usually watch that whenever it comes out.
Dude, I get it, man. I get it. I love that stuff. Like I love again, I love watching all of this shit. I get so engrossed in all of it, man. And it's so much fun. Like I don't understand why people don't like this stuff. Like when they're like, I'm just not really into Halloween. I'm like, why? What's wrong with you?
You're missing out. You're missing out.
I do want to kind of switch gears a little bit and get talking to movies a little bit because you do love your movies. You love your horror movies, but you've seen so much. I thought it'd be fun to talk about the topic of what is some non-horror movies that you feel like could work if they just got that genre bend or that twist where horror was kind of introduced to it.
Ooh, that's a good question. That is a really good question. And I should have wrote it down. I feel like I had an answer earlier because I seen the question and now, all right, I'm going to let you start this one off while I brainstorm.
Here's the thing. Like any rom-com could be switched into a horror movie really easily.
That's true.
It can change super fast. But like if I was to actually go, people are going to hate me for this, but I think a really good takes place in the 90s horror movie would be You've Got Mail. If you did it as like it starts out as this cute thing. And then you find out that like he knew the whole time who she was. And it gets dark and like he starts picking off like people in her life one by one and making it look like accidents. But she's like not convinced like what's going on.
New I'm going to say the Notebook.
Really?
Yes.
Where would you turn the horror in the Notebook?
I'm gonna say when the part where he's hanging on the Ferris wheel, forcing her to go on a date, pretty much.
Yeah.
Let go.
Pretty much.
He lets go. He survives. He goes crazy. Goes on a killing spree. Stalks her. Kills everybody that she's with. Every single time she gets into a relationship, not in front of her though. They just end up disappearing, and then somehow he comes back around.
So for just years, he's like chasing after her. They have this whole relationship, but in reality, he's murdering everybody she knows.
No, they're not together.
Oh, she just denied him. They never got together.
Yeah, so she denies him. She thinks he died when he let go of the whole thing, when he said, I'll let go, which, again, very, very toxic. Ladies, I don't know what you call romantic, but that's not romance. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I pursued my woman like that, I'm sure if Mick pursued his wife like that, we'd either be 6 feet underground or in prison.
Wait. So you don't think that, like, grabbing a woman and just shaking her until she says yes is okay?
Nah, I don't think that.
All right, I'm going to follow your advice on that. You're a smart man, so I'm going to go with you.
Hanging off of, first of all, I'm scared of heights, so there's no way in hell I'm going on that, let alone hanging in front of that. Like, date me or I'm going to let go. Who are you?
I wouldn't even gotten to the sentence. The sentence would have never happened. It wouldn't have been like, date me or he's dead.
Right before the whole, but yeah, you could say the Notebook. I think that could be a twist. That could be a twist.
I think any sci-fi movie could be twisted into a horror movie. I mean, I feel like that's just cheating, though. I feel like that's
Fear. Was it Mark Wahlberg? Fear? That movie
That was a horror movie.
I don't know though. I thought they kind of counted as like a.
They didn't call it a horror. You're right. They didn't call it a horror movie. It does not go down as horror. But let's be real. That was a horror movie.
That's a wild situation.
That's a weird movie.
Yeah,
dude. And I remember when I watched that because like that came out in like 1996. I think it was 96. Yeah, 1996.
Mm-hmm.
That was like one of Mark Wahlberg's first, like, because he did Boogie Nights, and I think they were trying to figure out what was best for him at that time. Like, he did Basketball Diaries. I think he did Boogie Nights had come out at that point. And that was like his big, holy shit. Like, oh no, Boogie Nights comes out a year after. So he didn't even hit like that mecca of like stardom yet. So I think after Basketball Diaries, they're just trying to figure out what to do with him. There's like this rapper turns actor, like where do we go from here? And I think they did Fear, and like it's just like I don't think anybody really understood what it was when we went to go see it, because when you go see it, you're like, oh, like girls were like, oh, Mark Wahlberg, let's go watch him. And for the guys, it's like, oh, this just seems like pretty intense or whatever, pretty crazy, you know, because he's like screaming at one point, but like, yeah, it's not going to be that bad. And then he's like fingering her on the roller coaster, and then all of a sudden, like the best friend's trying to sleep with the daughter, and the daughter's best friend's trying to sleep with the dad, and then like the dad's like, it was just so chaotic. You're like, this is not what I was expecting.
Not at all. Not at all. And I watched that. I don't remember when I watched it. It was on Popcorn and Pines. That's all I remember. Reviewing it on there.
Widely considered, Basic Instinct is widely considered already a horror. And a lot of people consider Sharon Stone's character to be not one of the first female slashers, but like up there. Like if that movie had been more on the horror side than it was on the like big budget movie side, I think that could have been, because I mean that was a big movie. That was a big deal, and that was straight horror. So that's an interesting one.
It is. Cool. It is.
What would be a good, you know?
Batman could easily be horror, especially any of them involving the Joker.
That's true.
Just because, I say that because Joker just wants to destroy. He doesn't care about the money. He don't care about nothing. Just destroy, and mainly Batman.
Oh, all about it. Yeah, he didn't care. And like even Batman is, this whole premise is using fear against. He's basically saying like there's a giant bat out here. Just like it's murdering like the bad guys. So like what's going on? And then, you know? I
mean, not for nothing, you have Scarecrow with all of the things he does to make you see your fears. So just imagine that, just a movie based around him being a horror movie, and you're seeing all your fears, and you may think you're killing somebody off or killing that thing off, but you're really killing someone else or hurting yourself.
Oh, that's always been a big thing, especially in the comics. The comics have never been afraid to show the horror. I like James's answer here. He says any animated Disney film could be turned into horror. I think even if you take that one step further and say any animated film could be horror.
Yeah.
You know what would be a cool one? A Roger Rabbit-esque type of movie, but it's a horror movie.
Oh my goodness.
Where toons and people like us are like just live together. They're just normal living together, but like there's just a crazy toon that's out there murdering people in the most horrific of ways, and like they hire a detective to seek them out because nobody wants to mess around. Like they're trying to, the humans are trying to use this to like board up Toontown. Like, I mean, kind of like how Roger Rabbit was, like the whole plan, but like it's more of hysteria than it is like a nuisance, you know?
I like that. Roger.
That could be interesting. Tell me that that would be a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, it would be.
Like toons murdering people, but from an adult perspective. I think that could be a great time.
I'll tune in for it. I'm going to tune in for damn near anything horror related. I'm going to check it out at least once. So
could you watch an animated, and I mean a traditional animated, because I know there have been horror movies that are animated, but like a traditional, like it looks like a cartoon you would watch as a kid, but it is a horror movie.
So like Batman, if it looked like Batman the animated series, yeah, I'm here for it.
Even let's take it a little bit further. Let's say it looks like
Looney Tunes
or some shit, you know?
I'm still gonna watch it. I'm still gonna watch it because there's things that I watch that are just like, why the hell is he watching? Thanksgiving is probably one of them. But I watch that every year. That's my tradition. That's something I do have a tradition of, is watching Thanksgiving every year, 1 and 3, the Tuesday of Thanksgiving. Yes, I know it's not Halloween, but that's my Thanksgiving tradition. And I review them every year. I try to get a new person to watch them every year to come on and review them with us.
I have seen Thanksgiving, so it wouldn't be new for me, but I'll review it.
Oh, you can still come on for them because it's just a fun time. It's one of those movies. Two of those movies are just so ridiculous, funny.
Yeah.
Good time.
Have you ever seen Blood Rage? That's a big one for me on Thanksgiving.
Blood Rage. I got to see what the cover looks like.
Dude.
I believe so. Oh, I have another one really quick before I look up the Blood Rage cover for this movie thing. Cocktail with Tom Cruise. He's the bartender.
Ooh.
But what he's putting in their drinks is not killing them. It's making them go out and kill for him.
Oh my God. Ooh, let's take that a step further and take the drinks out of it, right? Mm-hmm. He's a bartender who it's like Sweeney Todd now. And all the waitresses that work for him are in on it.
Oh, yeah.
And they're attractive women that are bringing men back to the bar so he can torture them down in the basement.
There you go.
Oh, shit. Dude, we should write that.
There you go.
It's
it's a cool way of doing it like that because you already have movies the other way around where the women are getting kidnapped and tortured. Like, let's flip it, make it a little different, and you know.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I'd be down.
I'm here for What was that movie you mentioned again? Just a second ago. Do you remember? Because I don't.
The one. Well, you did Cocktail, and then.
But it was before. No, it was before you said Cocktail. You asked me if I seen a certain movie, and I was just mentioning Cocktail because I had it like right there.
I don't remember which one I was because now I got all excited for for that. But yeah, man, that could be a lot of fun.
I really feel like it could be. I really feel like it could be a ton of fun, especially because he does it at the town where he lives in or city he lives in. Then remember when he travels to Florida or something? I forgot where he goes and then does the same thing there.
Yeah, well, that was a big deal. So for a long time there was this what's it called? So there was a serial. I mean, it wasn't a killer, but at the time it was a rapist around the country. Mm-hmm. And so this is now, mind you, this is a time when police departments weren't conversing with each other. It wasn't that simple. You had to go and you had to get paperwork done. You had to talk on the phone, go meet. It was crazy. So there was a rapist who was going around from town to town. He was a serial rapist, and people the cops could not figure out in each town what is going on, and they started to see that in these different cities it was the same MO. Mm-hmm. And they could not figure it out until one guy, I forget where it was, I think it was in Colorado, I'm not sure, I'd have to look up the story again, but he found the pattern, and the pattern was it goes from town to town, from city to city, big city to big city, but he found out it was a stand-up comedian who was traveling. Oh. And he was in every one of those cities on the dates.
Wow.
And when they figured it out, they found out that it was him doing it. And that story has been kind of changed in the movies quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Why is this happening in different cities? Stuff like that. It always plays out. But I just don't feel it's ever done right. I liked the aspect of when I read this story, it was the police weren't really working with each other. This one guy had to go and, oh, wow, that's happening there. Oh, that's happening there. Oh, and it made him span out to look in other cities that had the same thing. And then once he did, he was able to really pinpoint it down to what was in the city at the same time. So imagine having to comb through every event that was going on in the city during those dates.
That's wild. That's crazy.
But that would be a hell of a story, from a cop's perspective, the detective versus the killer.
Yeah. And then to narrow it down to that guy. But then imagine if there's two people that are traveling together. One has nothing to do with anything. They're just, because of comedians travel together. But it's just these two comedians that are in the same cities all the time. I know they travel, how shows and stuff go, but there's at least these two that are in every single city together.
Yeah. That would be a fun movie, because that would be fun if you changed it to a musician who travels with his band. Not a big time, just one that maybe travels to little amphitheaters all over.
Yeah.
And the detective who in one city is trying to figure it out because maybe he was close to the person, but will make it a killing. And then make him a slasher sort of killer. Mm-hmm. And now, but when you're cutting back and forth, it's this cop in the 80s or 70s or 80s trying to figure it out, what's the pattern, and really doing the homework and obsessed with it. And then you have the killer who's obsessed because he's on tour, he's with his band all the time, and he's desperately trying to get them to not figure out what he's doing. But he's has this huge compulsion for murder.
See, I like it.
That could be interesting.
Like oh, and the movie was Blood Rage.
Blood Rage, yeah.
James. I did see that, and that's a good movie too. That's a good movie. That movie had me fooled. I'm not going to spoil it. I did review it before, and you can go find the spoilers there or watch it, but I'm not going to spoil it right here. But that's a good movie. That's a good movie.
Well, I know you have a show coming on at 8, and I don't want to keep you too long. So, and you're going to get going. You have a big interview coming up. So make sure you go tune in after the show's over. Head over to Sturdy and check him out. But Sturdy, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about the podcast before you head out.
Yeah, Horror with Sturdy. Like Mike said, please come check it out at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. 8 o'clock every Tuesday and Thursday. It's either movie reviews, interviews. It's a lot of fun every single time. To me, you'll find out when you get there. And again, like I said earlier, horror is just a very important part of my life, and I try to show that within my podcast and within discussions like this. And I hope to see you guys there. You guys better stick around, finish this episode, enjoy what Mick is about to say when I leave, and be kind to each other. And shout out to the copycats.
Damn right. All right, guys. So remember, go check out Horror with Sturdy, Popcorns and Pints. Everything is linked down below. You can check it out. He is live every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. He also goes live throughout the week. He joins us with Mick at night and so much more. We are going to be working together a lot during Halloween, so you're going to see Sturdy pop back in more often. He will be a part of the festivities. I can't wait. And we are doing a very special. We'll announce it here on this show, but we're going to have the official out on our social media by the end of the week.
Mm-hmm.
We're hosting a Casters from the for a Cause, but it's a special event. You want to tell them a little bit about it?
Friday the 13th script read.
That's right. On Friday the 13th.
Yes. On Friday the 13th.
Yep. October 13th at 7 p.m. We will be reading The Great 1980. Friday the 13th. We'll all be playing different roles. We're going to have some games played into it. It is for charity. We're doing it for All for Lunch, which is for school lunches to help kids who are impoverished, who may not be able to afford school lunches, get those lunches they desperately need. It's very near and dear to my heart, especially Sturdy's. It is very near and dear to his. So we're going to be doing that. Make sure to join in, donate. The donations will be live all month long. You know, we want to make sure we give more than enough time. But that night, and especially, we're going to have a great time. We're going to offer some great things coming up. It all goes to charity. We're not keeping any of it. It's all going straight there. But we're going to read the scripts. We're going to have fun. We're going to get into it. And I thank Sturdy for being my partner on this magic carpet ride, because it's going to be awesome.
And I thank you for letting me be a part of it, because one big thing we need to all do is hand out that reaching hand to help someone else out. And we can help these children, man. Help them eat. Let's help people.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. That's couldn't have said it better myself. So I'm going to say thank you, Sturdy, for coming by. We're going to finish off the last couple of segments, so stick on around. And thank you, Sturdy.
Of course, man. Of course. And I'm sure I'll talk to you soon. Everybody have an amazing time with Mr. Mick Manhattan and the Scene Snobs. Sturdy is out. Peace.
Peace, brother. All right. Well, there it is. Sturdy was here, but he's going off to his show. But I'm here to talk about Let Me Micksplain. Is wokeism bad for movies? Hollywood will be on the lookout forever. So this is one that I chose because I've really been thinking about this, been kind of doing my research on it and things like that. And really what's been annoying me lately is like wokeism is very alive. Being woke, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with being socially aware and socially conscious of the stereotypes that people go through and the things that people have to suffer through all the time, based on their gender, based on their race, based on so many things, disabilities, the whole nine. And it's sad and it's sickening. I don't think I'm the only one when it comes down to it that's really thinks this, right? But for me, we're seeing it more and more intrude upon stories. And here's where my problem with it is. I don't mind a woke story. I have arguments with people all the time who are like, everything's too woke. Everything's too woke. Well, no, I don't mind woke. I don't want everything being woke. I do mind when woke ruins a story, and that can happen when you are pandering. When that wokeism turns into pandering, you can ruin a good story. Now, my feelings on this are like when I watch this, and when I watch movies or TV shows and things like that, like I'm a big Doctor Who fan. I have the TARDIS tattooed on me. I'm a big Star Trek fan. We have a show where we rewatch everything and talk about it. So like I'm invested. Now, those are two shows deep rooted in future and sci-fi that are immensely woke by today's standards and have been for so many years. Doctor Who's been fighting a good fight since the 60s, and really so has Star Trek. That's well over 50 years, almost 60 years coming up, where we get a woke type of environment. These characters that are ready to go. But perfect example is when woke invades and you try to like push too much of this awakening within a story, and it ruins characters, ruins story, ruins through lines, ruins everything. And we saw that in Doctor Who. We saw that when Jodie Whittaker's doctor took over, who she was fine. It had nothing to do with her. She was not a problem. She was a fantastic doctor. And that works, and that change worked. It was poor writing, though. It was poor writing, trying to push messages, trying to push agendas, trying to say with everything that's going on in the world, this is our voice, this is where we stand. I'm all for that. But when you sacrifice a story and you are talking down to your audience for it, then you're not getting your message across and you're destroying everything. There's very smart ways to deal with these social issues in story without sacrificing the story. But that's not happening these days. And that's what's really starting to piss me off is every story that I see, TV show, movie, when it's like trying to push in a message or this woke message, or as they call it, and really it's getting lost and it's turning into something of a Christmas Carol sort of vibe. I've seen so many versions of the Christmas Carol where somebody's learning how to be woke and nobody's teaching us why should we be woke over that. When are we finally going to get the stories that are like, well, you know, when you say these racial stereotypical things, this is what it does. Spell it out for us. Or, you know, like with the Barbie movie, like a lot of people are freaking out, and I've talked about that in the past. What, you know, it's a movie. Stop. And it's okay to have a message in a movie that you don't agree with. If you don't agree with it, though, that's a problem. We got to figure it out. But, you know, not everything you're going to agree with, and I get that. But when it comes down to sacrificing the story to say this, like, you need to be like this. If you're a man, you need to think about this. If you're a woman, you need to think about this. If you are a person of color, you need to think about things this way. But in reality, you're not teaching anything. You're just literally regurgitating. If you're like this, you're evil, and there is no waking up for you. So we're just going to abandon you and let you go. And that's never what movies should do. Movies should never feel like you're abandoning somebody. Somebody should be able to watch a movie, even if they don't agree with the message, and either enjoy it or hate it based on the merit of the movie. That's not how we do things today. It's high octane. For a long time, movies, when they're, you know, critics would step in and they start talking, movies wouldn't be like that. You know, movies were there for the sake of being there just to entertain. And yeah, they had messages. Yeah, they had things in there, but they didn't hit you over the head with it. They let you figure it out for yourself. And I think that awakened a lot more people than in your face saying you're wrong if you don't feel this way. Because automatically, if you tell somebody no, they're going to push back wanting a yes. So don't tell them they're wrong. Don't tell them they're this, that, and the other thing. Just say, hey, we got some things we, you know, maybe you didn't know. Let's check it out. Let's see why. And shows from a different point of view. Be smart. But we're not getting that type of writing right now. And now I respect the writers and what they're going through and everything that's happening. And this is not a defense of like the studios, but we're not getting what we need to get. And we're not getting satisfying entertainment. And that's what bothers me. It's okay to be woke. It's perfectly fine. In fact, I endorse it, and I think it should exist. Movies should push boundaries. Movies should make you think. Same goes for television, books, and every other type of art form. This stuff should make you think. This stuff should make you look around and be like, you know what? Things aren't the way I want them to be. You should not be a mindless zombie after you're done watching something that you enjoy that's entertaining. You should walk away from it with a feeling of like, I completed that and I learned something new, or I did something. Or if I didn't like that, I didn't like it because I didn't agree with it. But I'm okay with their right to say it. So being woke is perfectly okay. Having woke in your movies and woke themes and things like that to try and wake people up to societal things that are happening today that they may not be aware of. But dumb writing is not okay, and you need to wake up. And you need to start telling the story, and you need to start being better about it. Because I'm telling you, the stuff that's coming out now, I'm getting real tired of seeing Ebenezer Scrooge have to go through his shit again until he wakes up and he's finally woke. No, woke is ruining Hollywood because Hollywood doesn't know how to make woke. Perfect example is the Jonah Hill movie. I think it was called You People that came out with Eddie Murphy. It was so woke. It was so in your face. Like, if you don't agree with me, you're a part of the problem. But it taught nothing. It was the entirety of that movie is paper thin. You know, you could jump through it. That's how bad it is. I'm not saying the themes or the messages they have weren't right, but they were not told right and they were not written properly. Somebody wanted to be in your face about it, and stop being in your face and start worrying about being entertaining while adding these things in. Because I'm telling you, smart people are going to pick up the right way. The people who aren't going to be woke by the time you finish telling them a message, they're still not going to be woke. Don't worry about them. But tell a good story, be entertaining, and show people through good storytelling what we should be thinking. How should we be doing things in today's world, and being a matter of kindness, caring, empathy, compassion, the whole nine. If you do that, maybe you might win this fight. I don't know. That's just me. I'm explaining it to you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We do this weekly. You can check it out as a clip on our YouTube channel, but thanks for listening to the podcast or watching the podcast and seeing it here. I truly appreciate it. But let's go on to our last segment of the night, and that is Mick's movie picks. So last week was 1991 was the winner, and I picked New Jack City, personal favorite of mine. And this week's is from 1952. That's right. You voted on 1952, and I'm going to give you a movie from it. And actually, it kind of ties in well. So I did last week's numbers were 1952, 1927, 1987, and 2012. As you guys know, I give you 4 years. I put them up on our Facebook page, on our Twitter, on our Instagram. You go vote. You vote on the year in the comments, and then whatever gets the most amount of votes will win, and I will pick a movie from that and recommend it to you. Again, last year's winner, 1952. So I went with Kansas City Confidential. That's right. I love this film noir. It stars John Payne. A very young Lee Van Cleef is in it. And it's a movie that really kind of throws you for a loop in a lot of ways because it's completely different from things that were happening at the time. We were getting a lot of good stuff like DOA. The Lost Weekend was in the 40s and tons of stuff. But this is a movie where a gentleman who just got out of prison, he had a career life of crime. He's out of prison. He wants to go straight. He does not want to go back to jail. He's just in it to do the right thing and take care of business. And that's it. He just wants to be left alone. His name is Joe. And he's played by John Payne. And then he gets like kind of murky waters and in with some bad guys. And he gets framed for stealing $1 million. He got knocked out and framed for it. All the police thought it was the ex-con who did it, and he was part of this whole gang. So his whole thing throughout this movie is to go and try and find them and create this whole plot to try and get the money back so he can prove that he had nothing to do with it. It is one that I found, it was part of I think a buddy of mine and I found it on a film noir DVD box set that was like $5 at whether it was Walmart or Walgreens or something. Man, we found that movie, and that movie was worth the $5 alone. Now, everything was great in it, but Kansas City Confidential was like a B film noir movie that came out in the 1950s, 1952 to be exact, and I thought it would be a great one. So if you really want a good recommendation for a really good film noir movie with fun acting, it's a B-style movie, so you're not getting too over the top, and you get into it. And everybody is fantastic acting, and just the whole vibe of it, the art direction, the whole nine, it was just really well done. So go check out Kansas City Confidential. Another movie from 1952 I do want to mention because I did my McCarthyism video, and Dan and I talked about it on our interview on that, is 1952 also gave us High Noon. Now, I normally don't give two movies, but I do want to give one here. You should go check out High Noon as well. High Noon was a big time, considered one of the best Westerns of all time, and it was a huge allegory for what was going on in the time with the Hollywood blacklist, the Hollywood 10, not being allowed to work, being kind of stuck out on their own. Nobody would help them. And that's what the whole theme of this movie was. A sheriff in a small town has a bunch of bad guys coming to gun him down in a draw, and the entire town just completely abandons him. It's a well-told story with Gary Cooper and Grace Kelly right out there in the front and starring in the movie. I think you'd really enjoy that too. But I'd love to hear what you think about Kansas City Confidential or checking out High Noon. Let me know in the comments. These are both from 1952. Or you can head over to our Discord. You can head over to our Facebook group. You can head over to our Discord and our Facebook group, the Snob Nation groups, and talk to us there. Let's have a good time and follow us on social media. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to Sturdy, my guest, for coming on. Go check out his stuff. Everything's linked below. Please rate and review us if you're listening to us somewhere. Make sure to follow us. Follow us and like us here on YouTube. That goes a long way and really helps us quite a bit. And before we get going, I would like to push one of our sponsors. This show is brought to you by Entertainment Earth. I'm all over the place. This show is brought to you by Entertainment Earth. Check out the commercial. And if you go and you use the link down below for Entertainment Earth and you buy anything on there, you get a discount and you also get free shipping on up to a certain amount. Check it out. What's up, movie snobs? Are you ready to take your love of pop culture to the next level? Look no further than Entertainment Earth, your one-stop destination for all things entertainment. From rare collectibles to the latest must-have items, they've got it all. Whether you are a fan of superheroes or a sci-fi lover or a classic movie enthusiast, Entertainment Earth has the perfect treasure waiting for you. But it gets better. By clicking the affiliate link down in the description below, you'll get an exclusive discount just for you being our amazing viewer, and we thank you guys. Get 10% off if you click on the link below, and if you spend $79 or more, you get another 10% off and free shipping. Check it out. Take advantage of this because it is truly awesome. All right, guys, I want to say thank you again for watching. Before we get started, I want to tell you next week's movie numbers. These were, of course, last week's. Next week's, you can go vote again on our social media. You have to follow us. All the links are down below. 1959, 1938, 1974, and 2008. Vote on one of those years. The winning year will get a movie recommendation from me on next week's episode. Guys, if you're listening to this podcast at a later time, make sure to stay on because Chris Riding's interview with his 5 questions is coming up. If you guys are watching this on the YouTube channel, thank you guys so much. You can follow and you can go check out that as a clip on its own. It's not going to be on here. But thank you guys for watching and listening. And go back and check out my episode with Chris Riding as my guest co-host. That was a lot of fun. Welcome, everybody, back to 5 Questions. This show where we sit down with my guest co-host from the Scene Snobs Podcast, and we talk, and I ask them intimate questions about their love of movies. We have 5 questions to go. Today, I have Chris Riding. And if you haven't seen our show together, you should definitely go check it out. The podcast is available, and it's also available on video on our YouTube. Like and subscribe. All right, Chris, you ready for the questions?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get into it at the end. I want you to tell everybody about yourself, but we're gonna save that for the end. All right, we're just gonna jump right in.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. Do you remember your first time going to a movie theater, and what was that movie? What was it like? If you don't remember, that's okay. Can you share another experience?
Oh, it depends, man. It's like, how personal do I want to get with the internet?
That's fair.
I'll put it this way. I have the farthest back I can probably remember is maybe seeing original live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in theaters. I think that's about as far back as I remember seeing a movie, but it's like little snippets, you know what I mean? Like, I love that movie and I have seen it numerous times at home. I'm a big Turtles fan. People who know me my day to day, I'm a Turtles fan. But screw it. Probably the most, we'll say, traumatic theater experience. I think it was like my very first date. Oh yeah, you're going on a date. Yeah, go to the movies. I went to the movies like on my very first date. So that was like, and I saw Scary Movie, thinking, because I like horror movies, and I'm like, oh, comedy, blah blah. If it might have been decades since people seen it, Dave Sheridan and all such in the film. But there's a Basic Instinct scene that I was not prepared for as a young man. Where I forget who the actor is at that scene.
Was it Denise Richards?
No. It's a male who does the leg open scene.
Oh, I don't know why I'm remembering the wrong one.
And then it was just, here's this big old ball and dick just dead set in the screen, and I'm just freaking out in my young mind, going, ah!
But I'm on a date. Why would you do this to me?
Yeah.
Damn it,
and
God.
then I later found out that girl's grandmother was like multiple rows in the back to make sure I behaved myself.
Wow. Yeah,
So
that's a hell of an experience.
Yeah, so later on I found out Grandma also got the big old show.
Hey, listen, Grandma was probably more into that after that than you guys. So
it was very traumatic for me as a young man, going like, oh, I'm gonna go on a date. Oh God.
I definitely understand that. We've all had those experiences, but that's a great story, man. I appreciate you telling me.
Well, it's now on the internet.
That's a really good story, and that's one, like, because you're an actor and because you're out there and you're starring movies, you need to share. You got it because it's a fun anecdote. So I think don't be embarrassed by that. We've all had those first dates.
Oh yeah.
There's some doozies for all of us.
Oh yeah, your question just made me think of that immediately. I'm like, do you want to give the honest answer or the safe answer?
Well, let me tell you what. If I'm ever in the chair, my answer is going to be a whole lot crazy. Well, here we go. Let's go to the next one. What is a movie that reminds you of your childhood?
Ooh. I would probably say Harry and the Hendersons.
Why? I love that answer.
I love Harry and the Hendersons. I've always been a cryptid kid. back in the day when I was like, I think middle school or something, they had like those most likely to whatevers. And it was like most likely to meet an alien, Chris Ridings. Because I would come to school always wearing like these alien t-shirts and stuff. I proposed to my wife at Loch Ness. Yeah, so I've always been a cryptid guy. And Bigfoot is one of those first loves there. And Harry and the Hendersons, the robotics, the puppetry, the story, just it reminds me a lot of me as a kid.
I love that. I love that very much. That's a fantastic answer. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
So good.
Oh, wonderful, sad but loving ending, and I can never get over it. I need to show that to my kids. I need to get on it. All right, question 3. Who's a character in a movie that you really look up to or looked up to at some point, throughout your life?
Ooh. If I want to go we'll go with the honest answer. So probably growing up, my introduction to like horror films and stuff were mostly growing up. I would watch here in the older ones and stuff like that, but I really got into it with Joe Bob Briggs' Monster Vision on TNT, and we've talked about this previously a little bit on the other show you had me as a guest on.
Yeah.
Real Combat, that's what it was. Phantasm. I'm a big Phantasm fan, and I love Reggie Bannister, and I just thought, I was like, man, Reggie's so cool. And I was like, and even as a kid, because I saw it as a younger guy, and I'm like, he's an ice cream man and a 4-barrel shotgun, and what in the world? And like, I just thought he was like the coolest guy.
That's a great answer. Like, nobody would say that, but I love it. You have an indie spirit, and right there, Reggie Bannister's your guy. I love that.
It was like guitar. He was playing out, like jamming out. He's an ice cream guy, kicks butt, take names, and he's also just seems like a generally cool dude to hang out with.
And a super loyal friend.
Exactly. He went back for Mike.
Oh man, time and time again.
Overall, wouldn't give up on his friends.
Damn right. All right. Can you share a time or a memory when a movie made you feel a strong emotional reaction?
Ooh. If I were to go with if I probably were to go with the most recent one where it kind of got a little perclipped, Clerks 3.
Yeah. I don't want to get that one's too fresh. I don't want to give that one away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you.
That one got me a bit. I'm like, ooh.
We grew up with it, so like that hit really crazily, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, Kevin Smith's recent films have really hit a lot lately for me. Just on maybe it's because I've gotten older and I'm going to resonate a bit. But that one particularly hit the emotional spectrum for me, but also for some of his Jay and Silent Bob reboot one. There's a line about fathers that I particularly liked about to be a dad. It's someone who cares about you. You can have different types. You have a stepdad, bio dad, adoptive dad. Like a dad is a dad.
Yeah.
As the person who cares about you. A father, yeah, that was a potentially genetic donor. A dad is someone who cares.
I agree with you on that. And that was such a beautiful sentiment too, and wonderfully delivered, like with Ben Affleck and Jason Mewes having that beautiful conversation together about fatherhood.
Mm-hmm.
That was another element to that fatherhood aspect I really liked.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I was like, those two films of his lately, I'm like, damn, man.
He really is. He's tugging on the heartstrings now. He's like, I'm really going to go for it.
Like, I get past the weed and smoke. Let's cut him a little deep.
Very true. All right. Question number 5. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's a doozy.
Uh-oh.
No, what is something about you that you'd like the audience to know? We've talked in depth on the show about what you got going on, but maybe there's something that you wouldn't want them to know more about you.
Ooh. Gotta think about that one for a second.
Yeah, take your time. And while we're doing that, let's add to it. Chris, tell everybody about yourself, where they can find you, and what you got going on.
Sure. So do a fair bit of indie film, a little bit of directing, a little bit of sound, a little bit of acting, kind of a little all over it. Just actually shot some stuff for Fuzzy Monkey Films the other week. We shot some Wrestle Massacre 2 and a mystery project as well that I'll wait for their team to kind of more announce about that. So we shot a little bit for that. Heavy Duty Man is a big old passion project for me, so I'm looking forward to that coming out. Hit List Video is my own production company. We work on our own stuff. We help with other stuff. There's a YouTube channel with some like a little sub stuff that I do, like I out of fun. Hey, there you go. That's something I'll talk about. Just for my own jollies. I do a little 15-second video thing every now and again called Hit List Picks. And it's basically I pick a theme and I pick 4 to 6 movies that I would recommend to hit the theme. Because, and that's why I say Hit List Picks. And there you go. I'll go through more with that. Hit List Video. So that's the name of the YouTube channel, the production company, all that stuff. That is named after a mom and pop video rental shop that was in my hometown when I grew up.
Nice.
So before, so that for me, when I think movie rentals and getting to check out movies and getting to try out, like go to the movie rental place, get five movies for $5 for 5 nights or whatever they may be. The first one that comes up to me is Hit List Video. And that was kind of my way of bringing the past to the present for myself. When I got a little bit more into the indie film stuff that was just not acting, but putting more of a behind the scenes piece to it, I was thinking, how do I want to list that? How do I want to remember that? And I thought I would use Hit List Video.
Nice. I love that. And that's a great answer to number 5.
Yeah.
I'm
I was
not
like,
even gonna let you come up with something else. That's perfect. I love
I was
that.
like, I worked myself there. I was like, oh, that's what I could talk about.
I love that, man. And we're going to link that down below. So make sure you guys go check it out. I'm saying I'm going to link it when I put this up, but it's there for you now. So go check it out.
Oh,
Guys, thank you so much. Chris, thank you, man, for coming back and doing the 5 questions. Really appreciate you. Go check out Chris. Go check out his movies. It's great time. Bloody Summer Camp is out. What else can we see? Where else can we see? I know we talked about it on the podcast, but I want to hear it here.
Oh, okay. So a few movies that I'm in already that you could watch. We have Bloody Summer Camp. There's Shriek Show.
Yep.
There's a fan film called Batman Dawn of Fear. I have a small clip in Deadly Dealings. I'm in a couple short films, and I have a bunch of stuff coming out in the coming year that have been filmed over the years, like Heavy Duty Man and Killer Camp Out 2. Really looking forward to Killer Camp Out 2 coming out. That was my first time working with Angel Bradford, and we spent multiple days together filming random shenanigans. So
it's funny you mention it. I just watched one of Angel's movies earlier.
Oh, cool. Which one?
I watched Desperate. I think it's Desperate Hours.
You mean Desperate Souls?
Desperate Souls. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kind of all over the place. I've been watching a lot of stuff lately, but yeah, I watched that today because they are reviewing it on a friend's show, and he asked, and it was funny. He sent me the link for it, and he's like, "We're going to review it tonight. I'd love you to come on the show and talk about it with us." And I was like, "All right, I'll check it out." And I watched it, and I'm like, "I know her. I know him. What's happening here?" You guys show up all over the place.
Yeah. So I was like, got to work with her on a couple things, and that was the first one I worked with her on. So I'm looking forward to seeing the shenanigans of that. She beats me up a lot in that movie. It'll be fun.
She takes everybody out.
Oh no, I play kind of play like a dorky guy, and she kind of bosses me around. I think that'll be fun.
You guys do such a great job. You, my friends, you've been killing it lately. I wish you all the good fortune. Thank you so much for coming back to do the 5 questions with me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, guys, everybody go follow Chris. Go check him out. He's got some really fun stuff coming out. And Hit List Video just sounds awesome. So why aren't you there? Why aren't you there subscribed already?
Oh, thank you.
But until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. Remember to hit like, remember to hit subscribe, and remember to hit that bell because you're not going to know when everything comes out if you don't. Until next time, check out the Scene Snobs. Follow us for more, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.